Nice dive! Upon ascending to 4 feet during a dive, the surface interval time will be displayed instead of the depth, with the surf icon flashing for the first 10 minutes. If a descent is made to 5 feet for 5 seconds, the dive will be continued. Surface time will not be added to dive time. After the first 10 minutes, the Atom 3.0 will revert to the surface mode and will allow full access to the norm surface menu. Previously in this module, we have reviewed the planning screen. In this section, we'll look at the time to fly, desaturation time, logbook, and history screens. Let's start with the time to fly and desaturation time. Time to fly is a counter that begins counting down from 23 hours and 50 minutes, 10 minutes after surfacing from a dive. It indicates the time you should wait before flying on a commercial airplane, so you could avoid any potentially decompression sicknesses. To access the time to fly screen from the main surface mode, press the advance button until you see the fly graphic. The time to fly counter is the time you should wait after diving to travel on an airplane. Press the advance button to see the desat timer. The time to desaturate counter provides calibrated time for tissue desaturation at sea level, taking into consideration the conservative factor setting. These two counters are quite important in preventing decompression sickness. Do not ignore them. Let's now look at the logbook. The Atom 3.0 will store information for the last 24 dives and will display them sequentially in reversed order. Dives will be numbered from 1 to 24, starting with number 1 for each time a new series of dives begins. For each dive in the logbook, there is a preview screen and 3 data screens. To access the logbook from the surface mode, press the advance button until you see the log lead-in screen. Then press the select button to access the log preview screen of the most recent dive. The log preview screen contains PZ plus icon is selected for that dive, logbook icon, date of the dive, start time of the dive number, and dive mode for that dive. From the log preview screen, press the advance button to step upward to the preview screen of the next dive in the log, from the most recent dive to the oldest. Or press the mode button to step backwards to the preview screen of the previous dive in that log. Once you find the correct dive, press the select button to enter the log data 1 screen for that dive. This screen contains PZ plus icon if selected for that dive, logbook icon, surface interval with icon, tissue loading bar graph showing the end of dive accumulation with the maximum reached segment flashing, variable ascent rate indicator showing the maximum ascent rate sustained for at least 4 seconds, maximum depth reached, dive time, and tank pressure at the end of the dive with tank icon. Pressing the select button will move to the Data 2 screen. This screen contains logbook icon, altitude level, and temperature. The third log screen is only available for a nitrox dive. Let's now look at the history mode. The Atom 3.0 history is a summary of basic data recorded during all normal engaged dives conducted, up to 9,999 dives. To access the history mode from the surface screen, press the advance button until you see HIST in the bottom row. The history mode includes 2 screens, History 1 and History 2. The History 1 screen contains the graphic HIST, total number of dives ever recorded, and the total number of diving hours recorded. Press the select button to access History 2. The History 2 screen contains highest altitude at which a dive was conducted, maximum depth ever recorded, longest elapsed dive time, and the lowest temperature ever recorded. Okay, we're done with this module. Are you ready for the quiz? If not, you can go back and review the sections in this module. Also, you have the option to practice what you've just learned. Just click on the link, Atom 3.0 practice site, and the simulator will take you there automatically. Press Next at the bottom of the screen.